So I think the best April Fool's joke this year was Morbius is bad. Hey, welcome back to the Jay Shrey Way. This is going to be a movie review for Morbius, the very much criticized Morbius that nobody seems to want to give a chance. If you couldn't tell, I'm going to be defending this movie somewhat. I'm not saying this is Shakespeare, this isn't some profound cinema, but there's so many other movies that come out, action movies that are like this, that are way worse, and it's became the viral cultural trend right now to just kick this movie while it's down and just mock it. And I guess it just upsets me because I am a fan of Jared Leto. He's a very problematic actor, celebrity, but he's one of those actors that can sit there with no dialogue and you're stuck with him just thinking, pondering something, and he expresses a lot. And he does that in this movie. I've always been impressed by him, aside from his Joker, which really started the hate train of him. Ever since then, nobody wants to take him serious, and he doesn't help because he does some wild things. I haven't seen House of Gucci yet, but this is the most reserved you've probably seen him in at least his popular films. He kind of just plays himself like a guy, a smart guy. I mean, he plays a doctor, and that's the thing. This is a character. This is a movie that is weird that it even happened. It's had a bad taste ever since it was announced. It's been delayed on probably a record amount of times because it was about to come out right when COVID hit. So it's been dealing with delays, and then they had this most recent delay after No Way Home. Everybody was thinking, oh, it's going to be SpiderMan crossover now. They're going to go film some stuff after the reception of No Way Home. We all were thinking that. It was rumored. And yeah, it's not really a Spider-Man movie. Just like the Venoms, it's not connected to that. And to me, it didn't insult me as much because the Venom movies were something I dreamed of seeing since I was a child. He's a way more popular character, so the fact that they screwed that one up to the levels that they did in both of them, it hit home and it felt personal. This one, I went in with an open mind because you could make it good or bad and it wouldn't hurt me as a fan, because my only introduction to this character was probably the 90s animated series, and he never stood out in that, and he's never really been touched on much other Spider-Man media throughout the games or just anything in the years. And this was a weird choice, and then they go and cast Jared Leto, who is always going to get attention and cause rumblings. So it worked where any publicity is good publicity, or whatever the saying is, and this movie is a walking embodiment of that. It's making money all right at the box office. It's not like breaking records, but it definitely made money. And if the narrative is to hate it, then at least go see it if you want to hate it. And that's the thing that's been happening, is nobody's even seeing it. They're just assuming that it's garbage. And the way that you're hearing it makes it sound like a mockery of a movie. Like you feel like, I was under the impression that there was going to be actors forgetting lines, and there was going to be green screen shots and stuff like that where it was that bad. And it's a competently made origin story. There's nothing about it that like stands out as just sinful to the cinema. Like it rushes through the plot. Yeah, the pacing is a little messy. It feels like a collection of scenes. It doesn't really feel like scenes are supposed to go to one to another. There's not really a rising tension. You're just kind of watching scenes. The editing's kind of bad, but there's so many other movies that do stuff like this and they get a free pass. And yeah, I being a fan of Leto and a fan of the Spider-Man characters, I was like, I should be able to get enjoyment out of this, and I really liked it. I thought he played the part. Like you're expecting him to be out there and obnoxious the way you hear about him on set, and he was very reserved, like I said, as this character, and he was believable. And I was really like loving. I mean, you get quick montages of him learning his powers. They look great. They translated them to screen great. Whenever he becomes Morbius, I was just thinking like this guy would smack the shit out of Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, or Tobey Maguire, whichever universe they decide to connect it to. He's like, his powers are pretty off the charts. Like, he's really strong. They do this weird effect with like a Snapchat filter almost when he's phasing in and out of the vampire and stuff like that. I thought it would be laughable from the trailers, but it came across all right in the movie. The Venom movies did that too. I remember in the first one when he's first getting the symbiote inside of him, you see the teeth and Tom Hardy's face and all that stuff, and it looked bad. This, it actually fit. It looked like pretty real to me. There's probably a few shots that don't look that great, but if people are gonna praise No Way Home, which I love that movie, there's obnoxiously bad CGI in that movie. And this one, it doesn't. I mean, it's filmed a lot in the dark, so that's a good way to cover up bad CGI. But there's nothing in this that's laughably bad, like you're being steered to think. And I don't know. It's a movie that's inconsequential, and it's not really expanding the universe too much, and people are already hating that because we're designed now to expect everything to be a trailer for the next thing. But why can't we just take solo stories and learn about new characters? Moon Knight did that, and people aren't complaining about that. It was definitely better made than this was, but it's like people are beating this down as soon as they heard that the Michael Keaton Vulture scenes, slight spoilers, they mismarketed it with the Vulture in the trailer, in the first trailer years ago. He's hardly in the movie at all. He's not in the movie, if you want me to tell you. Like, it's not even a part. They shoehorn him in there at the end, and I guess that's what they did the reshoots for. And then that's the worst part of the movie, is the post-credit scenes, because they make no sense, and they tried connecting it to No Way Home, which will upset people that really praise that movie like I do. Now there's a little bit of stain on that because this dumb decision they made, but it's not enough to like make me hate it, because like after this movie I was like, I want Morbius too. Everybody's hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag make Amazing Spider-Man 3, hashtag make Morbius 2. I'm going to start that shit, and I know I sound like an idiot because nobody else is going to follow that, but this character is way more compelling and cool than Venom was. And that people are shaming Sony for what they've been doing, but this actually I thought was way more effective, and it's not as goofy. There's not a lot of humor. You might laugh, but it's probably unintentional, because there are some silly moments with especially the villain, and everybody said the villain turn was very forced. No, it's not. They show you the way that movie opens, you get to see how this character has an anger to him inside. He's a bullied person his whole life, so it makes sense that he would be power hungry, and when he gets these powers he would act a certain way. So yeah, like I just don't get the complaints. And then I heard a lot of people saying the ending is like just a snap out of nowhere, like, oh, it's over. Literally, you could feel the movie building up to this climax. The climax happens, you get like a nice little tease of a different thing happening with another character that can possibly go to Morbius 2, and then it ends. And I'm like, every superhero movie kind of has similar endings to this, at least anymore. But why is this one being so fucking slammed? I just don't get it. Because it was a cool ending, cool aesthetic. I love the way he looked, the way his powers moved when he was flying. It was cool. Like, I was legitimately a fan of a character that I never cared for in Spider-Man. Jared Leto's like take on this made me actually, this is the most interested I've been in the character through media. And yeah, I think it was what they wanted to do, they accomplished, other than the big connections. And that's where Sony is stupid, is they tried connecting it to No Way Home in the MCU without probably permission. I don't know what they're on anymore. But I think with the way this is already being widely accepted as a flop and a failure, even if I don't think it's that, I don't think we're ever going to see this character again. I think it was legitimately an airball. And it shows the power of the internet, because people, before this movie came out, were already saying it sucked. They've been saying that for the past year, and if you actually watch it, you could form your own opinion, and that's all I'm trying to say. If we didn't if you heard about the Bruce Willis news, people were clowning on him for 2 years, the past 2 years. He made all these straight-to-DVD films, and you figure out he has this form of dementia or something. I don't know the actual name of the disease, but he's losing his cognitive skills, and he's been trying to make as much money to pass it down to his legacy, his family, and now everybody kind of feels shitty for clowning on him. So I just feel like we should learn from that. I mean, who knows if the directors or anybody involved in this movie have a hard life behind the scenes. Everybody kind of does deep down, but I just don't think it's a fun narrative to bully. But some of these memes have been pretty damn funny. And yeah, and I liked it, and I'm sure the actors aren't that upset because it's putting more attention on the movie at the end of the day. But the thing I'm really getting annoyed by is people are doing it and jumping into the mob mentality without even seeing it. So it's like, it's just kind of weak-minded. I'm like, come on. But yeah, I want to see this character return. I want to see Morbius 2 or see him in Venom 3. That's the only way they'll get me to come to Venom 3 because I hate that franchise. But if they put Morbius in it, I would be pretty excited. But yeah, it's really just a solo origin story. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5. Like, it's a legit average good movie for me. There's way worse superhero movies and movies in general that have come out in the past few years. People are saying this is the worst superhero movie of all time. Hello, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Venom 1, Venom 2. There's a lot. I mean, Ant-Man, the Ant-Man franchise, there's so many other things I would rather put this on before watching those again. And yeah, I'll definitely go get this on Blu-ray because it was cool. Jared Leto is one of my favorite actors. It's cool seeing him be a leading man, and I think he was good at leading the ship. Matt Smith is the villain. He was in Last Night in Soho most recently. And then he's about to be in the Game of Thrones prequel series. So he's been on a roll. But this is probably going to be a hump in his career because the narrative is that it sucks. But it's probably still going to make money and be successful, so it might not hurt him too bad. He was awesome in this. He's the little bit of fun you get as the nemesis, kind of. But yeah, his story with Leto, their scenes were great. With powers, without powers, I loved a lot of their interactions. The worst part of the movie was Tyrese as the cop. Every scene he had just killed the flow, and I was like, well, let's get the vampires back on the screen. He wasn't that great. And apparently there's like a behind the scenes photo where he had some type of gadget on his arm, so they cut a lot of this movie. There was probably a whole plot with him being a part of it, but you could tell they've scrapped a lot of his moments. So when he comes on screen, it's like, what the hell's going on here? Just feels like a 90s CSI episode when he's on there. But yeah, it's not game changing, but it's not abysmal, and it's definitely for how long we had to wait. Yeah, like, it's annoying. COVID got in the way and made us wait longer, and I think they should have maybe released this on streaming during 2020 or something when movies were going straight to Premiere Access or whatever, because yeah, it's just made it's made the uphill battle even harder that they had to make excuses for so long and keep pushing it back just for us to get a pretty decent average movie. But I was under the impression all week that I was going to hate this, and I saw it with no hope, and I actually was invested the whole movie, and yeah, I'm a fan of this character now. So those are my quick thoughts on Morbius. I'll do a Moon Knight review. I plan on doing one. The first episode was awesome, probably the best premiere of any Disney Plus series so far, but I'm going to wait till like episode 3 and do a mid-season review, and then one at the finale. And then I also want to get a video out for Peaky Blinders. The finale for that was last night, last episode ever. Very emotional. It's kind of overtaken my thoughts on Morbius, but I still wanted to get this video out there. But yeah, Peaky Blinders, I got the hat back there, is an amazing series, my favorite television show out there. And yeah, there's just a lot of good media. It's still coming. We got Sonic 2 this week as well. So stay locked in with my channel, and I'll try to get more videos out for you guys. So yeah, definitely form your own opinions, and wait till you don't got to go rush out and see this in theaters. I'll probably, like I said, I might get it on Blu-ray. I'll wait a few months to watch it again, but yeah, if you're interested in hating on it, you should be interested in seeing it, you know? So I think you should check it out. And that's it for me, the Jay Shrey Way. I'll see you guys later.